Hi all. So I got through week one, as you can see on screen. Did a little bit of day trading and options trading. That was the initial plan, so I've stuck to that, which is good. So the first strategy that I tried, I'll go into detail on another screen, but in most days was the FTSE 100 opening range breakout. So this took very roughly sort of half an hour a day. I'm just doing this ballpark. I'm not too much into the detail, but that is roughly half an hour a day. Ended up with a net £60 gain for the week, so that's good. I've added this flag in for realised and unrealised, which I'll explain to do with that one, and then stress levels. So this one I found pretty easy, pretty easy to do. I can do it before work. I can, or I should set and forget. As this note says, sometimes I forgot to do that and got carried away with looking at the charts. So I need to just improve that. But this is week one, so we'll see how I get on. The next one is a similar strategy. That's 2:30 UK time. So this is I found this a bit trickier. It's the same process. I'll show the details a little bit in a second. Basically, a slight loss off that one in the week. The reason I put medium, it's a little bit more difficult due to working hours. So I have to kind of maybe do it a little bit more rushed. So I'm not sure this is going to be one that I can continue to do or should continue to do. So I'll see how that progresses, but it could be that I just focus on this. And like I say, I'm not expecting to make fortune straight away. So if it means I just sort of make little bits every week, then we'll see how it progresses. And then the last one was an option that I opened on Tasty Trade, a vertical put credit spread. Again, rough time because I just opened it up. I'd done some pre-planning on this, to be fair, but it's just one trade for credit. But obviously that's unrealised. So just to run through on the FTSE 100, this is an extract from the IG platform. So just to show the individual trades that I did, if anyone's interested, they're there. This is just a screenshot. It's quite useful rather than having to create your own graphs. I've just been lazy and used it off their platform. So over the week, you can see that's obviously actually the trading day week. You can see a win rate 38, which is not great. 3 out of 8 trades. But the profit and loss ratio is pretty good, 3-1. But that really is more important over the longer term, because all this is, you should be consistent and have a long-term view on it. So I'll probably add that in more detail in future weeks when I build up more of a pattern and more of a length that I can show more on here. But that was £60 over a week, so not too bad. The S&P 500, so as showed on the front screen, I actually rounded the front screen, I think, but £17 loss, so slightly better. The details are there again. Lots of small chopping and changing. I need to look, and I think that's partly to do with the time and the struggle to be able to implement them properly. You need the right mindset, really. So I think that's learning off this, really. Again, you can see win rates roughly the same as the last 4 out of 10, but profit and loss really poor. So ends up in a loss. The options, so I just thought I'd show this options trading. I've just done snippets, so excuse the crudeness of the screenshots. So this is Tasty Trade. So I've put one credit put spread on SPX. So 1850. So obviously that's, with it being a credit spread, you get that in your account sort of day one, but then it ties up capital. I think I got about 4.5k 8k tied up in dollars on this trade. So that stays sort of tied up until this ends. As you can see, it was March 27th, I think it's around about the 45 days. The Tasty Trade common theme is to do 45 days, and then you've got a chance to roll and such like. So we'll see how that goes. This very, very crude snippet, which is out of sync, which is not good for OCD, but was just to show. So I got the 1850 there, if people can see that in small writing. It's actually a 38-day trade I did on. So 1850, but if it was to end below 6980 on the 27th of March, if it was actually all below that, then I would lose 2,650. So I've done some back testing on this, which I did in this options trading toolbox, which is optionstradingtoolbox.com, and they've got an options back tester. You can sign up free, just add a Google account in, and it's actually quite useful. Obviously, you have to understand it a little bit. I've been playing about quite a lot with these, but you basically put lots of different combinations in and whatever you want to put in, and then it gives you a back test after some time. It just tells you when it's confirmed via email, and then you can have a look at it. So based off there's obviously lots here. There's lots on the screen, but I just did several. But based off sort of win rate, and this is over a 5-year period, the profit on a 15,000 available capital. So this is not really the number I was looking at overall, but this is called max drawdown. So what I was trying to do is find something doesn't have an absolute terrible max drawdown, but also has a decent win ratio. This delta is roughly what I went for, 57.53. So what I will have to do on this is obviously actively manage this. When I say actively manage, at the moment, still several days out. It's the 27th of March expiry. They advise on Tasty Trade once you get towards 21 days to really sort of, potentially they advise to either close it out regardless of what position or to roll. So I think what I will do, I'm likely to look at this more often, but I'm just going to give it, say, a week, and then I'll just check and then see how it progresses. Just sort of putting this together at a very top level. I've just added this summary, which, as I say, literally, the pounds per hour is a little bit misleading. This is just to summarize it all onto one page. This will improve as I go. But yeah, for not many hours, again, overall in the week, I've really not spent that much time on this. It's £1,400, albeit, as mentioned, that is obviously not realised. So I need to see how the option pans out, really. The biggest win, I would say, is just having done the back testing and the review and a bit of study on options, is basically to just go in and make that first trade. So that was just good to get that under my belt. And then obviously I'll use that one to see how things pan out. The biggest lesson, the day trading orb strategy is not chasing particularly. I mean, I had a day off for one of the days and I just felt like I couldn't get away from the screen and just kept looking at it. And if it went up or down, I'd potentially cut my losses too early or try and get back in if I've lost, because you want to get your money back. So I mean, that's a big lesson. So I will try and cut that out and keep it methodical. For next week, I also had, in the different ways of trying to make this extra money, I had the buying and selling. So I have actually had delivery of a package that I ordered, but I've not yet kind of gone through it all and not analysed it properly. So I think for next week's video, I'll probably look at that side of things. I feel like because this doesn't really take too much time, I think if I lost the S&P 500 side, which I struggled with. If I keep focused on a quick morning task for the FTSE 100, the options, I may well, depending on the size of my account and what I'm looking to risk, I may well try and open another option weekly of a similar type, but to be decided. But that I would expect my next video will be, another update similar to this, hopefully with bigger numbers here, but we never know. And another option, and then maybe another section. So we'll see how that progresses. But yeah, that's it for this week. Let's see what week 2 holds.